Hi guys, it's me Toffee Dog and this is a new segment on my channel, but it also means something else. As you guys know, I stopped doing vlogs for a personal reason, or stopped them temporarily because I need to get my mind together before I start vlogging again, because the day after I did my last vlog I was like, I'm trying really hard to do this and I'm not enjoying it anymore. So unfortunately there will be no more vlogs. I feel like this is for the best because I originally started the vlogs so I'd have more videos to upload to the channel during my time in college, where I may record gaming footage because I didn't have time, or it was too much of a hassle. But recently I've been finding recording gaming videos actually much easier and easier to edit than my vlogs. So unfortunately the vlogs are going to end. I wasn't sure whether I was going to do a big finale and celebrate, but I am recording in my living room because I want to record, I guess, a new segment to replace the vlogs. This will not be every day. But I got inspired by a YouTuber called Jessie V. She basically shares stories that have happened in her life, and some of them are quite bizarre and quite different to some other people's, and I thought I'd do life stories for you guys so you guys get to know a bit about me without me showing my face every single day. And also because when I clicked on one of those websites that published my videos, it put my channel down as a vlog channel, which is great, but I don't want my channel to be known for vlogs. I want my channel to be known for gaming and Pokemon and Shrike, and yes, you know, maybe the vlogs outweigh them at some point. Sometimes there'll be 5 vlogs before a gaming video, but I really want to be known for the gaming videos and be part of the Pokemon Shrike community. So we're going to get on with life stories. The first life story I'm going to share is they're all based around a cafe, which ironically, maybe not too ironically, I've just come. So I'm going to start with a couple small stories. They're very brief stories. One of them just happened to be today, and I'm looking around because I hope my parents don't walk in on me while doing this. Don't worry, I'm not doing anything. Today I worked in, and 2 of the customers that first came in, the woman we knew from the cafe because actually she came in later today to help out, and I assume her husband or friend. I had never seen her husband before. I had never served him. So they ordered their thing. He orders white toast with honey. Now I think for one reason he says it like white tea. It sounds like white tea in my head. So I'm going, oh, you want a white tea? No, I want a white tea. No, you want white tea? No, I want a white toast with honey. And then he would say white tea after. So all I heard was, because he said it quite fast, all I could hear was what he said in the beginning and what he said to end. So I finally figured out that he wanted that. And he's like, oh, could I have a drop of milk, please? So I think drop of milk as in his tea. He says, can I have it afterwards? His wife or his friend helps out in there, says, can I have spaghetti on toast? Yep, fine. Hand it to them. He goes, where's my drop of milk? And I was like, oh, it's there in his tea. He goes, no, I wanted a drop of milk, as in separately. Now, I have never heard someone order a drop of milk, which I know it's going to sound really weird, but what do you charge for a drop of milk? Like, we do charge for like a glass of milk, but this is a drop of milk. So I asked Chris, who is one of the lead ones who works in a cafe, could I have a drop of milk for this gentleman? She jokes about with me, oh, if it's not on the list that I've written down, can't do it. So we laugh. She fills up the whole glass. Now, I'm not the one who's done this, but because I'm the waitress, obviously it's, you know, he's going to talk to me first. So I hand it to him, and I'm thinking, this is a pretty big drop of milk. Hand it to him, and he looks at me and goes, that's not a drop of milk, that's a whole glass of milk. I said, could I have a drop of milk? I was like, oh. And he said it in quite a stern voice, so I was like, oh, sorry. So I didn't know what to do. I was like, should I just tip most of it out and leave some? Because there's going to be some residue. Or do I just have a whole new glass? So I pour it out, and there's about that much in there, and I think, well, that's a drop of milk. Hand it to him, fine, no problem. But it's weird because I've never heard someone ask for a drop of milk as an individual menu item, and I really wonder what you would charge for a drop of milk. Would you charge anything for it? So anyway, that's a little story that happened to me today. Another story, this is a very quick one, ironically has to do with drink again. Now I helped out with a food bank, can't speak today. I helped out with the food bank a few weeks ago with this lady called Jenny. She has red hair, she's very nice. She goes to sit down with her husband called Paul, who is one of the leaders in dealing with the safe and everything we have in the church. And I'm looking at every car door. And she says to me, I take down the order, she says, oh, could I have a Coke as well? I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. Go to get her a Coke, give it to her. She said, no, I meant Diet Coke. And I'm like, you asked for Coke, that's normal Coke. I mean, I'm not being rude, I'm not psychic. I didn't know you'd want a Diet Coke when you asked for Coke. If you said diet, even just saying the word diet, I would have guessed, oh, you want Diet Coke. It wasn't that big of a deal, but I did wonder, like, does she think I can read her mind? Because when I hear Coke, I think normal, the red can kind of Coke. Those are small stories. Now, there is a couple bigger ones. This happened, I don't know when this happened, it might have been this year. I'm pretty sure it's this year. And at the cafe, we shut at 2. And if we can help it, if we haven't been that busy, or if we've had not many people in like we did today, we try and pack up so we can leave at 2 rather than finishing at 2 and then starting to pack up at 2, which usually means we finish at 2:30 on average, which is fine. So it's one of those non-busy days we decide to pack up, and the rule in our cafe is at 1:45 we're not going to be serving any more hot food. So no more paninis, no more jackets, no more breakfast, no more omelettes, even just a bacon sandwich. So you can still have like cheese, ham sandwich, and you can still have hot drinks, but just no hot food because that takes time and it's pretty messy to clear up. And as it gets to 22, we're packing up and the cafe is completely silent. You know, we think that's good. This man comes in, he's, I think maybe in his 20s or 30s, and it looks like his mum's coming in with him too. And they sit down at the table, and that day I am serving as a waitress because in our cafe, if you can cook, then you can cook, clean and serve. You can do all three. We're not allocated a certain job. So when I started my volunteer work here, I wasn't just a waitress. If I could do a sandwich, I would do a sandwich. If I could wash up in the back, I would wash up in the back. So I was serving mostly that day and my feet were tired and I was thinking 22. And I wait for them a few minutes. So now it's about a few minutes till 1:45, I'd say. I get to their table. Now, I take the woman's order first and she orders a latte, which is not a tricky drink to do, but it is one of those ones where there's a few stages to do. So at first I'm like, okay, I want a latte, one of those ones that takes a bit, but that's fine, hold on. That's fine. But then she orders a breakfast. And not just any breakfast, she orders breakfast with extra bacon. Now consider this is a couple minutes till 1:45. So we used to have a sign up in the cafe saying this. But I don't know why it's not up anymore, but we used to have that. Which means now we have to tell people ourselves, like, listen, we stopped serving hot food at 1:45. But since it was not 1:45, it may have been a few minutes to, but it wasn't. So I was like, okay. I get to her son, he orders like a Coke, I'm like, okay. And then he says, oh, can I have a jacket with 2 toppings? Which again, no, any other time would be fine. But at this point, when I take the order over, it is nearly 1:45. So from going to having no customers at all, having 2 customers ordering what we consider big menu items to do. And the jacket takes time, you have to heat the jacket up, and sometimes you have to heat up 2 because one jacket's not big enough. But we managed to get it out and there's no problem. So that's one of my stories. It's sort of like, if you work in retail, I've heard stories of people coming in at a few minutes to the hour when people close and they just stay there. And this is what these people are like. They're taking their time and you don't want to rush them. You don't want to sort of stare at them and sort of go, it's 2 o'clock, you should go, which we can't really say because we're a community cafe. We can't be rude like that. But I thought that was a little bit of I've never experienced that before, but when I did, I luckily don't do any of that sort of cooking with the breakfast, so I didn't have to be the person cooking it. I was just giving it out. But I did feel for everyone because we had all the surfaces wiped down, we had practically everything put away, and we had to probably wash the table down again, which again was fine. This next one is a bit complicated because it might take me a little while to remember. Now this happened this time last year. There's this lovely lady called Margaret who comes into our cafe, and she is a family friend. She is lovely, she is so nice. She can't even get around that far, but she gets around to the cafe, which is about a 10-minute walk. Come in and see us. Now the cafe is quite busy at this time, and there's these 3 ladies that haven't come in before, and they all order omelettes. So as I said, omelettes is one of our big menu items. Again, no problem, because even though we're busy, because we're so busy, we're kind of used to having big orders. So we've been busy for about a couple hours, so we're just getting into the swing of things, and I write down 3 omelettes. But what happens is only 2 omelettes are made. I don't know who misread it. So I give out the 2 omelettes to the ladies, and the third one goes like, where's mine? Oh, don't worry, it'll come out in a minute. And then I forget about the third lady, which is pretty bad because I'm serving all the other tables. And then she comes out, I say about 10-15 minutes later, saying, again, where's my omelette? And one of the people who are cooking in there goes, oh no, there's only 2 put down. Look at the list. No, there were 3. So bless her, she has to wait while her friends are eating their ones. Wait extra time for us to do the omelette, for them to cook the omelette. So I do feel bad for her. So we finally get the omelette out to her, and also we had a similar trouble with their drinks as well. I don't know why. Maybe they just, someone read in there 2 drinks, 2 omelettes, or maybe my 3 looks like a 2. Maybe something like that happened. Maybe they couldn't see my 2 as a 3, something like that. So that was, I would make that a story time on its own because it's never happened before. But then the icing on the cake. Now remember how I said the cafe was busy? These ladies have just started to eat together. They can now eat together and relax. Never guess what happens. This hasn't happened since the fire alarm goes off. And it's not coming from the kitchen, don't worry, there's no fire, but the fire alarm goes off, and this is only 5 minutes after this poor third lady has gotten her omelette. And I don't know what to do. I think we do have to go out to the car park, but all of us don't know whether this is a practice run. Like, do we have to go out to the car park or not? So, ironically, Paul, from the other story, the quick story about the Coke, he comes in and says, yeah, we need to get all your customers to the car park. It's the church's car park, but it's a few doors down, and there are these blue gates which we have to guide the customers round. And there's a bus stop in the middle. Now this is important, the bus stop, for the story, because I can laugh about it, but I don't think the ladies would laugh about it. Yeah, I don't think they would. Anyway, so we have to escort everyone. Chris starts to guide Margaret Park, who is the one who travels 10 minutes, even though she can't walk very far, just to eat at our cafe, which is very nice. And these ladies, instead of leaving their food, they decide to take it with them. And what they do, and I'm not kidding you, I do feel sorry for them because the third one's just finished eating. They finally sit down to eat all together, and a fire alarm goes off, and they're being told to go from their seats and go to the car park. Like, it wasn't cold, it wasn't hot, it was just normal weather. But I remember just me going around there, and as I was behind the queue, I could see that 2 of the women, as they were waiting for everyone to pass, I think they were waiting for the back of the queue, because they had sat down at the bus stop and continued to eat their omelettes and their salads. They had brought their plates out with them. And then they eventually joined the queue in the back, and we were all in this car park, and there's a boy my age called Sam who I was with, and I was talking to him. I was like, do you have any idea what's happening? He's like, no, I don't. And we get back in there, and it is so awkward when we get back in there because the 3 ladies sit back down, and as they go back up to pay, Chris, the leader, says, look, your third omelette we forgot about, and we've had this fire alarm, so you don't have to pay for the third omelette, which was very nice of her. Ladies say thank you, but I haven't seen them since. So they probably had a very different experience to what people normally have at a cafe. Normally nothing like that happens. But these ladies, having finally sat down for lunch, 5 minutes later, fire alarm goes off. They have to walk outside. Their omelette's probably gotten cold, gone back inside, you know, gone to pay for their meal. But at least they got one off. So I thought I'd tell you a few of my cafe stories. Luckily, I've been very lucky. I have never had a really rude customer in the cafe at all. In my nearly year on and off volunteer there, I have never had a really rude customer. I've just had funny stories that I could tell you guys about, and this is why I want to do it, because fun stuff does happen. I was going to tell you about the meal on Tuesday, but I put that in one of my vlogs. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and this will be a replacement for the vlogs, but I hope it's so much better than the vlogs, and that I put more effort into this, because I am quite enjoying saying what life stories. Maybe it's not boring at all. So I'll see you guys next time for the next video.